Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I forgot to do an intro yesterday, or I accidentally deleted it, or something like that. I was gonna do one yesterday when I was in Shirley. Now I stopped in the town of Shirley, Indiana, because after my uncle's funeral, that's where the little I never remember what the name of it is, like when people gather for the meal after the burial. So I had some time to kill after that. So I figured I would get outside and do some of that videoing. Shirley, Indiana is really cool. No trains, the railroad doesn't run through there anymore. It hasn't run through there for a very long time. So we're just checking out some of the history of the town, the history of the railroads that did run through there. So, hey, let's stay tuned for that and check that one out, everybody. Well, welcome back, everybody. So speaking of trains a little bit, so I'm in Shirley, Indiana. I actually had a family member that passed away, an uncle. I lived around here, so this is where we are. So not much left this time, but it says Shirley Heritage Trail. Talks about all that stuff about Shirley. There's a map right here that you can't really see, and some other signs. This is boat is on dog duty. So we're going to check. There's a mural to my right. We'll check all that out. But there's the town post office. We'll check out the fire department. This is called it's part of the Hancock County trail system. There's like heritage trails. This is what's called the Shirley Heritage Trail. So we'll check that out. Here we go. What up, little homie? What up? What up? So we're going, checking some things out. The park's like over here. It's probably quite a walk, but we'll check things out. So, no trains around here, but that's stuff that has to do with it in the past. We'll check some more out here in a little bit. Stay tuned. All right, so we're at this end of Shirley Park, and this is Shirley Park. All this right here, trail goes around over there by those buildings, way past, way down there. There's baseball fields over there. Look at the water tower. I like the way the wording's painted, but this, you get onto South Railroad Street and 2nd Street, and look at the signs. Look at a locomotive on it. Isn't that cool? So, little bike trail here. Pretty cool stuff. See, look, there's more park shelter house down there. Neat stuff. Let's continue walking. Get on the right side here. There's actually an old railroad signals over there. An old caboose. We're going to check that out. We were looking up some facts about the town of Shirley. Or I was. I'll share that with you guys here in a little bit. There's a rock dove over there, cuckooing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is those small town America, man. It's my favorite. I love coming out of small towns. But you know, I'm just walking down the bike trail, showing you guys the trail. One in the little town. There's one gas station. That's the Marathon there. There's no stoplight. I love that. See this little neighborhood? God, I love it. Really cool. right, see, yeah, South Railroad Avenue, got the same locomotive on the thing. See, walking or biking, Hancock County trails. We're gonna head over that way, check things out. And we'll talk about the history of what railroad used to run through the town of Shirley. So, don't go nowhere. All right, so I'm here at a sign, the Community Foundation of Hancock County. Shirley Community Visionaries. Let's see. The Shirley Heritage Trail is 1 mile of paved path that connects the Railroad Street Historic District with Shirley Park. If you travel from the Octagon House and the Railroad Depot trailhead, you will find history storyboards talking about the early years and people who helped create our community. We have many benches placed through the trail that give everyone the opportunity to stop, listen, and enjoy our beautiful corner of the world. And that definitely is. It's a very beautiful town. The trail was created thanks to the joint efforts of many organizations and their workers to collaborate and build something special for us to enjoy and add for many years. The organizations listed below invited us to be part of the great opportunity provided by grants in the Stellar Communities Program from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It is our sincere hope that you will enjoy and adopt and help create the next chapters of the town of Shirley with you and your families. Well, look at that. That's kind of why I'm recording to share with you. So here we go. Main Street views. Here's some of the pictures. I guess they had some bad flooding here back in the day. Early 1900s, Armistice Day, before it was Veterans Day. Or I don't know if I got that wrong or not. I'm brain farting. Anyways, I'm going to read this. Our Main Street is the center of our community, but is also the Hancock and Henry County line. This center of this community also separates school districts. To the east, our kids attend Charles A. Beard Schools in Knightstown. To the west, our kids attend Eastern Hancock Schools near Charlottesville. The line separates our voting districts and county seats. 911 calls get sent to different dispatch centers due to this imaginary boundary. Throughout the decades, this boundary has caused the community headaches, but it has also made us work harder to be one community. We have ties to two counties, but we have also had to be reliant on ourselves to maintain community functions and services. Living on the edge of two counties has made us create our own opportunities and look in different directions. So these pictures, the first one was like about the flood. There's one in the 1970s, early 1900s. There's a picture of Main Street South on Armistice Day. There's a fire department and Main Street business. So I think we're gonna head over to, which is just down the street. So we're gonna go check that out in a minute. But we're gonna check out the stuff over here. There's a depot and then Octagon House and then a fire department. I want to check all that stuff out. So let's go over here. So there's a doctor's office, Dr. Wilson's office. He cared for Shirley almost. I can't read. I'll go up there and read it soon, but here's the office of Dr. Ralph Wilson. Let's go ahead and read that. Dr. Ralph Wilson served the Shirley area in this building from 1897 to 1953. The office was originally built at 308 Main Street, with his home being 306 Main Street. The building was moved and preserved to this site in the 1990s through the efforts of the Shirley Historical Society. Ralph Wilson was born in Warrington, Indiana, on March 13, 1870, to parents Davis and Zarilda Wilson. Zarilda. C-A-R-I-L-D-A. Zarilda, I would guess. Who were Brown Township settlers. Ralph grew up on the farm and attended local common school until the age of 18, where he then taught school at the Brown Township District 3 school for 4 years. Moving to Indianapolis, he worked as a carpenter while attending Central College of Physicians and Surgeons, graduating in 1896. After working as head physician in the Indianapolis dispensary for 1 year, he moved to Shirley to take the practice of Dr. Harvey, who had been in town just a few years. In 1900, he married Victoria Trueblood and started their family of 3 children, Elizabeth, Ralph, and Max. Dr. Wilson made use of horse and buggy to visit patients until 1910. He purchased one of the first automobiles in the community, his leader car. His leader car, built in Knightstown, Indiana, is pictured. So his car is here. Oh yeah, I'll show it to you. Visited his patients in 1910. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, pictured. It was said that Dr. Wilson made good use of speed in his travels and was stopped many times by law enforcement. Many of the officers that pulled him over were originally patients at their birth. Dr. Wilson is credited with delivering 3,500 to 4,000 babies during his 57-year career in the town of Shirley. Hospital care was limited in our area. Henry County Hospital was a train ride away. Hancock County did not have hospitals until 1950s. Dr. Wilson had a few other rural doctors and treated many injuries, ailments in their small offices and in local homes for many years. Dr. Wilson passed away in May 6, 1954, just a few months after his wife of 44 years. I've only been married 8. Other physicians that served Shirley were Dr. J.W. Strout, 1900 to 1935, Dr. Michael Welsh, 1900 to 1910, Dr. Charles Holland, 1959 to 71, and Dr. Carl Matlock, 1973 to 1976. So let's house, or not his house, but his office. And the land's donated by those folks. Ooh, I was going to show you the car, the pictures. So look, there's Dr. Shirley. There's the horse and buggy house. There he is and his wife. And that's his first car, if you can see that. I know the sun's kind of shining on it, but let's go check things out. Well, that's the old doctor's office. That's really cool in there. You can't see much, but you can see some, huh? Neat. So, Dr. Wilson's office, he cared for Shirley for almost 57 years. Wow. There's some other stuff I want to go check out. Look at that. All right, let's go check it out. All right, so now we're getting into some railroad history. So, there's some signals that look like, I want to say color position lights, but for the most part, I want to say that's what those are. If somebody knows the correct name for them, please tell me. But those are really cool that that's still standing, you know. So there's a caboose and there's a railroad depot over here. The railroad depot is a museum. Hi, pup. Hi. Rough. Well, there's 2 of them. Let's go check out some of this stuff. I don't know if I can get on the caboose. It doesn't look like I can, but some cabooses you can get on, but I don't look like they want you on this one. So this is the old railroad depot, all caged up. Let's see if we can look inside. Looks like they got a lot of things closed. Yeah. All right. The Big 4 Railroad, 1910 wooden caboose. Huh. Cincinnati, Cleveland, Chicago. We'll read that in a second. All right, so let's check out this caboose before we read that sign. Old New York Central Systems caboose. I can't get up there to look in the windows. They're kind of, the windows of the doors are fogged over, and I don't want to get up there and get in trouble. So, but yeah, really cool. It's sitting on this rail. I wonder if this rail has dates on it, as they always put dates on the rails. 4/29/74. I think that's inspection dates. Yeah, I'm looking inside the caboose. Check this thing out. Isn't that cool? When ordering parts for this accessory. Cool. Yeah, I can't get on the caboose like I'd want to. It's obviously seen better days. It's a very old caboose. But let's walk around it. Check this cage out. It looks like an old jail cell, but I think it's for like freight and other commodities. There's another signal tower over there. Usually these things have a build date on them. $17,646. I don't see a build date on the caboose. I would say, unless if it's original when it was built. I don't know, but here's an old switch indicator. Yeah, see these little they outlawed these a long time ago. You can't really get it open because of the rust and how old they are, but the railroad outlawed them a long time ago. You'd open those flaps and stick grease in there to lubricate the bearings, and they always overheated and caused a lot of fire. So something I learned, I believe it was from 1960 Gambit, that told me that. Anyways, let's check out the sign. Big 4 Railroad 1910 wooden caboose, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Chicago, and St. Louis Railroad. So that's the Big 4 that still exists, just doesn't exist here anymore. Maybe this has some information about the caboose. Let's read it and check it out. Built at the Big 4 Railroad shops in Beech Grove, Indiana, this caboose was used for more than 60 years by the railroad. Typically, the in-car, the office of the train conductors, or the office of the train conductors, these cars accompanied every train in the 1960s when automation and changes eliminated the need for conductors to work on the train. Later caboose models were all steel. This caboose has its original number 17646 that can be traced through the railroad record to its life and service. It traveled the rails all over and was used through the area for decades on passengers and freight trains. Sorry if the sun's in your eyes. I'm trying to as you can see, the remodel pictures in the original Big 4 Railroad was the base layer of the exterior siding. The New York Central Railroad acquired the Big 4 route in 1906. They kept the Big 4 as a route and maintained the color scheme. In the 1960s, when New York Central merged with the Pennsylvania Railroad and became Penn Central, they covered the caboose in plywood and painted it aqua green. Caboose had its additional third layer of siding covered the aqua green. Tom and Marion Allison owned and operated the Carthage, Knightstown, and Shirley Railroad as an excursion line from the mid-'80s to 2012. I used to take that railroad all the time with my grandfather. That was like a scenic. It was really cool. I think he volunteered there as well. They downsized the line, leaving Shirley in 1989 due to the availability of railroad property. They donated the 1893 depot to the town and continued to operate the railroad from Knightstown to Carthage. Local rails were removed by Conrail in the 90s, and the rail properties deeded to many of the adjacent landowners. Tom had found this caboose at an out-of-service military base near Detroit, Michigan. The caboose had been used for a cabin and it was in the mild state of disrepair. He purchased the caboose and had it shipped to Carthage in hope of restoration to use on the excursion line. The rotted cupola on top was removed for transit. Huh. As the Allisons sold their extensive railroad collection after 2012, two men from Shirley had an interest in bringing some of the history back to Shirley. Dr. Hammer and Darrell Deck, longtime Shirley historic and civic leaders, approached the Allisons, and the Caboose was a special interest due to its history of being locally built and used along the Shirley route. Fundraising was started through the Shirley Community Visionaries, a grant from the White Family Foundation, Hancock County Foundation, and the residents. They were able to purchase the Caboose. So in 2016, volunteers Lamoni Harrell, Don Hammer, Jerry and Steve Duke, Dennis Westrich, Marty Ebert, Doug Dunleavy, Andy, Emily, and Abby Ebert placed the ties and laid the rails used for a small section of track. The Visionaries had the Caboose trucked to Shirley and placed on the rails. The extensive exterior restoration took more fundraising and time, of course. Maxwell, Indiana local carpenter Bruce Harvey was hired to restore the exterior of the wooden Caboose. Bruce used copies of the original plans and recreated the cupola, arched beams, and windows to bring a Caboose back to life. Exterior work was completed in 2022. Abby Ebert was able to paint the New York Central logos and identification numbers, bringing the exterior to life. Even though the railroad left Shirley at the end of the 20th century, we are so fortunate to have our 19th century origins on display to remind people of where the 21st century, where our story began. That's really cool. And I'm going to turn this, and here's pictures. That's the original. That's why being restored, and that's the inside of it when they found it. It was in real disrepair. That's really neat. And then, of course, let's walk around the old depot here. So this is the CH&D that, well, Cincinnati, Cleveland, St. Louis, the Big Four. Shirley Big Four Depot EST 1893. Yeah, I can't really look in there. Maybe this one. It'd be really cool if I can get in there, but I'm not going to be able to. Oh yeah. There's some carpenter bees that like to make their homes here, but they won't hurt anybody. I don't know if you can see anything in there. Pretty dark. Yeah, I can't see anything. Well, got the AC on. They do use it as a museum. There's an old call box. Looks like they use it because there's some new conduits on it, so that's neat. Well, let's go check out the firehouse, shall we? Stay tuned. Shirley, Indiana has about a population of 814 people, estimated 844 in Hancock County. And like I said, the Cincinnati, Cleveland, and St. Louis, the Big Four Railroad used to run right through here for New York Central. And of course, the Knightstown, Carthage, and Shirley Railroads, the excursion railroads, used to run through here as well. And we're going to check out some of that history today, folks. So, you know, a family member unfortunately passed away, and I attended his funeral, which is just not too far from here. We had a funeral in Knightstown and the burial up the road. So came down here to Shirley to check some stuff out, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's check some of that stuff out, including some old signal towers, switch indicators, a caboose, and even a depot. So let's check all that out. Let's get right into it, folks. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, here's the Shirley Volunteer Fire Department. So in 1908, they had a fire downtown. So October 17th, 1908, cost 2 lives. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. I got that cement trucks just hanging out. Now over here, there's a park, but there's a guy mowing. So I don't want to, there's a little park over there, like a Veterans Memorial right there. And then there's another sign over there where he's mowing, but I don't want to get in the way. So let's go across the street here to a Sky Pizza. It's not open, but I bet you that's the best, if it is a pizzeria. That's probably have some of the best pizza you've ever had. If you come to these small towns, that's where you get real good pizza and real good food. So I don't even know if it's a pizzeria anymore. It looks like it is. Anyways, let's go over to the fire department before we go over there, check things out. These old buildings are awesome. Oh, there it is. Shirley Volunteer Fire Department. We'll wait for these vehicles to pass before we walk over there. Well, looks like they have a Facebook page. Maybe I'll check that out. And got a pumper, 2 ambulances. See, you guys can see in there, there's the ambulances. Looks like there's a wildfire truck behind the ambulances. And then there's the engine. There's another fire truck behind. There's 2 of them in this bay here. And behind ambulance 411, there's another truck. Shear Shack. This place is so cool. Engine 412 out of service, fuel leak. If I can't tell if there's anything behind there now. Yeah, there is. There's that pickup truck. So here's the door. Oh, it's open. I don't want to go in there though. Hallgrove State 9. That's really cool. Really cool. Well, I'm gonna go check out that park real quick. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. I came over to the park. Took a jaunt over here to the park. Let's check this out. Malcolm E. Grass Memorial Park. Honoring the memory of a man of faith and family, a loving husband, dedicated law officer, outstanding citizen, and a true friend. His life may be lost, but the light will never go out. June 15, 1942 to May 8, 1986. Dedicated November 1st, 1987. Really cool. Really, really cool. I hope I wasn't like down like this. You can't see me, but that guy with the lawnmower comes back. I think he was only cut the park, so I don't think he's gonna come back. There's a little sitting area here. A little statue. Got a sign over there. I'm gonna read that though. That's really cool. For us to serve memory. Doesn't exactly say what that is. It just has a bunch of names on it. I wish it said what it was for. It's probably for the people from here or around the county that have served in the armed forces. Let's go check this one sign out before we get out of here. Our Main Street is the center of our community, but it is also the Hancock and Henry County line center of our community. I think I read this already. Yeah, I did. Here's some more pictures. Frozen Main Street, 1927. Wow, I wonder what the temp there. 13 below, I think is what that says. Dr. Wilson's home. B-Sun Eastside Middle School. Shirley Skyline. Oh, sorry, you guys don't even look at it because I'm holding the camera like that. Sorry. Yeah, here, look at it a little closer. You can see the railroad crossing right there. See the tracks going to the bottom of that picture? Right there, see it? There's a picture of the school. Dr. Wilson's home. Yeah, we talked about Dr. Wilson. Shirley Skyline from the Meridian. Street School Bell Tower, early 1900s. What's on the other side of this? Haha, stuff I can read. So there's Captain Malcolm E. Grass. That's who's memorial we just said, and the 1946 war memorial. So that's kind of the copy of it. This small triangle has been set aside for the community dating back to the early 1910 when the first town water system was installed. The water tower was here from 1910 to 1986, and it is set where the brick Malcolm Grass Memorial sits before you. The raised brick corners and the actual center of the actual spots of the water tower and the foundation and the water column. So we'll go over to check that out. World War II was a major event around the globe. Here in the Shirley community had many other young men serve as soldiers for our country. 6 local sons gave the ultimate sacrifice, and a group was formed to honor all that served. The War Mothers group raised funds and erected the headstone you see now in the late 1940s, honoring the 6. The name board was added. The name board behind was added, listing all that have served in the armed forces from the community. So in the community, original listing just soldiers during wartime. Many of the names of service men and women have been added aboard over the years. The War Mothers group disbanded in the 70s, but the community has tried to update and honor our local brave men and women, replacing war name boards several times in decades that have followed. On May 8th, 1986, local resident Hancock County Sheriff's Captain Malcolm E. Grass was shot and killed in the line of duty serving a warrant in Greenfield, Indiana. Malcolm was born and raised in Shirley. He and his wife, Carolyn Jessup, raised sons Carrie and Mark in town. Malcolm served as a volunteer firefighter in Shirley for 18 years. He was a deputy town marshal for 8 years and served in the Hancock County Sheriff's Department for 14 years. He was sheriff for 8 of those years. Malcolm E. Grass Memorial was dedicated November 1st, 1987, in honor of his service and sacrifice and his family paid protecting the community. Really neat. Really neat. So let's go back over here. So let's walk this way. So the headstone here, the 6 crosses that you see here, that's the original honoring, and the headstone honoring the 6 from Shirley that were killed in the Second World War. All Marines and Army Air Corps. But those are the names right there of everybody in the community that was in World War II. Some of the name boards have been updated. But let's go back over here. This was the Sheriff's Memorial. That was the water tower. So the 4 corners that you see where the blue planters are, that was the base. That's where the supports were. And coming up through the middle where the Sheriff's Memorial is, went straight up. So this is where the old town water tower was. Very cool. Well, thanks for joining me guys today. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. But it's hitting time to hit the old road. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Checking out some town history. I know it didn't have any active trains going through, but sometimes I love to show the town of those communities. And like I said, channel name is Adventures with Joey Boats, so it's not going to be just all trains. We got a trip coming up here soon to get the kid to college. I'm going to video that whole trip, and pretty soon it's going to turn into more than just trains, so stay tuned for that. If that's not your thing, then that's okay. I appreciate it, but there's people out there that do want to see it too as well. I really like I said, I really appreciate you guys joining me on the channel. I really do appreciate you guys watching, like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. So like, comment, subscribe, and share if you haven't done so already. Hit that little alert button. You'll get the notifications for when I post. All the notifications for when I post. And if you have more time, please watch another video, because every video you watch really helps my channel, and I really do appreciate that. It helps. Every little bit helps, guys. Every like, every comment, every share, every subscribe, it all helps. And no, subscribing don't cost you a dime either. Anyways, folks, until we meet again, have a good day.